Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. It's a noisy morning around here. It's Tuesday, and it's a noisy morning around here. We have some maintenance crews taking down some of the mahogany trees that have been identified that might cause problems with some of the electrical lines. So they've had authorization by the developer to take down the mahogany trees that were installed when the subdivision was built way back in 2004, 2005, 2006, somewhere back then. But they've grown big and they need to cut them down. Also, you hear the generator is on in the background. I didn't realize today was another scheduled, well, I think it was scheduled, but it's not on my schedule, a brownout for 12 hours, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I received yesterday from from the security that in October we still have like every three to 4 days, for every day in October we have a 12-hour brownout for that electrical upgrade of all those electrical poles between Lipa and Padre Garcia. So the generator is going to get a lot of use. The generator needs to have its oil changed very soon. So that's something I have to work on in the next few days. So anyway, I am working upstairs. I decided to go ahead and for today's task to go ahead and install the lavatory. Get the lavatory installed inside there. Well, as you know, I didn't go down and get any of the plumbing supplies for the other stuff for the sinks. And I will do that today or tomorrow. I don't know. Sunlight is burning, so let me get today's started. So without further delay, let me get today's video underway. Well, it is time to start doing some of the preparation for installing the lavatory, the toilet here inside the comfort room, the bath on the second floor. Now, I'm going to give you a huge tip of the day because, as you know, throughout this entire build, we really didn't have a plumber. The plumber that we had at the very beginning of the build, if you remember way back when we were pouring all the concrete for this house, and we were planning out all the stages of where the pipes go, you'll know that we had a very underqualified plumber. As a matter of fact, we fired him. As a matter of fact, we fired him twice. Somehow he got back on the site again, and he was just making so many mistakes. So what you're going to find out, possibly if your contractor fires your plumber, or you fire your plumber, somebody has to take his place. And a lot of times, your contractor takes the place of the plumber. He thinks that he can do it, but he's not specialized, as you can see when we were doing the build here at Villa Feliz. Now, I'm going to give you a huge tip of the day, and this has to do with oversight. Remember, you want all of your connections to be flush with your finished tile, whether it be your wall tile or your floor tile, so that when you make your connections to either your hand wands or your angle valves for the water that's going to your sinks or to your toilet, or even the waste for the bottom underneath where your P-trap for your toilet connects to the floor, you want it to be at a level place, level with the finished floor, which is your tile usually. Let me show you what you don't want to find. Now, what you don't want to find is this, and this could have been easily fixed with proper planning at the very beginning, calculating how deep your slab is going to be, calculating how much plaster, tile adhesive that's going to be between the tile and the slab, and your finished tile itself, the thickness of the tile. But this should have been flush. This should be sitting 3 centimeters further down. Now, this isn't a catastrophe. It's worse if the catastrophe happens when this is too deep down inside and you have to start putting some flange extenders inside here, which I haven't seen those over here in the Philippines. In the US, they're very commonplace because a lot of times a house is built and they'll do something like linoleum for the floor, and then people come back later for a renovation, they do an upgrade and they put tile, and it raises the level of the floor, and you just put a flange that goes around the outside, you bolt it to the original flange, and it's a very easy fix. Now this one right here, I can't cut this off because if I cut this off, if you see the bottom of the the PVC has a lip inside here. So when I put my P-trap inside here, it's going to stop at that point no matter what. So this was a very poor calculation on my builder's part. It should have gone down much further. Now, something else I want to talk to you about is when they put this from the wall, from the finished wall to the center of your pipe, your waste pipe that's going down, this at the very center should be 305 millimeters. All right, 305, that's an important number, not 35.5, which is this one right here, which means our toilet, the back of our toilet right here, is going to be sticking out much further than we should have it. 305 is the optimum. Now you have a little bit of leadway one way or the other. If you're 1 or 2 centimeters away from the wall, which is what's going to end up here, we're going to be a little bit further away from the wall, that's not a catastrophe. The catastrophe happens when it's set back too far. The minimum is 200, I believe 240 millimeters. If the center of this were 240 millimeters, we would be on the wall, right on top of the wall. If it's anything less than 240 millimeters, the only way to install a lavatory against this wall is to cut a big hole in the wall and slide your lavatory back in. And that is just absolutely horrible. I've seen it done before, but you don't want to do that. Also, you want to make sure that the maximum this is away from the wall is not more than 340. Again, we are 355 millimeters, which is 1.5 centimeter further than we need to be, but it's okay. We'll accommodate for it. We'll just bring it a little bit away from the wall. Tip of the day. Now, what I had to do to accommodate this P-trap into this hole right here, because remember, you see the bottom of the flanges here? It used to be this long, all right? This long right here. And then this little piece right here goes over the edge of it, and this slides down inside here to give a good seal so that you don't have any of those nasties coming up out of there. It creates a very good seal without using a wax ring. You don't have to use a wax ring with this American Standard model right here. I don't like using wax rings. They deteriorate sometimes, and then you have to replace them. Luckily, this P-trap is I was able to accommodate by cutting off, with the table saw, cutting off 3 centimeters. Remember, we're 3 centimeters high over here. Cutting off 3 centimeters here, I'll be able to slide this little washer assembly, the seal, put it on here, and then slide it down here without having to cut this right here and jamming into this part of the flange. So let's go ahead and get that done right now. Okay, now with the simple modification, you can see I was able to cut the groove on this side right here, leaving enough space for the seal to go down and make a good seal. The reason I had to cut this area out is because this part needs to slide down to ground level, to the finished surface, like this. Now it fits inside there. We can secure this to the wall with the mounting plate, and this section right here, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to cut it off at a certain area defined by the calculation between the wall and where the lavatory fixture itself is going to be, and then we'll put this seal on around this way, somewhere back in this area, and then slide it over to the base of the lavatory itself. Okay, well, as you see, the lavatory is installed. No water yet, because remember I still have to get the angle valves, and I'm going to go down right now. I'm going to go pick up those supplies that I need, some of the Teflon tape, the angle valves, and there were some other things. I have a list of things that need to be picked up. But it's installed, and you're probably wondering, why is it so far away from the wall over there? Well, that's because that's where my contractor put all the plumbing. I didn't have a choice. When there's a hole in the floor, you have to go where the hole is inside the floor. It's actually big enough to put like a small plant or something over there. And I think we have enough room over here where the bathtub is that we'll have enough space to make it maybe we'll call it decorative. So anyway, it's installed. It was a challenge, I will tell you. A tip of the day when it comes to installing a toilet. Do a lot of the installation before you slide it up and mount it to the floor and mount it up against the wall. Because things like the seat, this is actually a bidet. This is one of those electronic bidets Ness wanted installed inside here. But I will tell you, trying to get up underneath, because there's really no access. This is like a sealed unit. Let me show you. There's really no access to this. Except for that little tiny hole inside there. And you should have seen me trying to get my hands and arms inside there to tighten down some of these things that needed to be tightened down, and to get this bidet installed on the top. Anyway, it's all installed. It took me a little while longer than I expected. It was pretty much an all afternoon job. So I have to go pick up those things downtown, probably stop by Handyman. I think I can get most of the P-trap and all the things I need for the plumbing supplies down there. So let's run down there. I'll grab a bite to eat and then get back here to Villa Feliz. Hopefully not much after dark. All right, so before I run down to the hardware store and get some of the plumbing supplies, let's take a look and see how far we got today on Stonework on the fence post. So as you can see, these two posts, not fully completed. There's still some sections down here that need to be done around the light, around the fence itself. Some minor stuff, the stuff on the inside. And I also noticed one of the other things, they must have their process down a little bit better, because they've done the front of the cladding on this one and the front of the cladding on this one. So it seems to me that we are moving a little bit at a faster pace. Instead of, I think we're about doing one a day. Now it looks like we're getting somewhere around 2 to 2.5 a day, something like that. I don't know, but we're making good progress. Okay, well, let's head into Lipa and go get some plumbing supplies. But before I do, I have one birthday shout out for today, for October 9th, and it is for Roberto Agnote Jr. And he is an OFW over in Qatar. So anyway, to you, Roberto, happy birthday. Okay, here we are at Robinson's. We're gonna go to Handyman first and see if we can knock out as many of those plumbing items that we need. Try to do one-stop shopping if possible. Well, they didn't have everything I needed here. I might have to run over to one of the other hardware stores. I was kind of hoping to get all Posey angle valves. They don't sell Posey here, but they do sell Watergate. And I'll use the Watergate for underneath one of the sinks that you won't see those. So we'll probably make another trip to one of the other hardware stores as well. I'm going to take a look at some of the lights while I'm back here, because we got to get some lights. Remember, we have 4 lights that we have to fit for the walls inside and the bath up on the 2nd floor. Well, I've gone about as far as I can here in SM looking for the things that I'm looking for. I really need to go to Wilcon, but I can't do it. It's too late. They close, I think, at 7 o'clock, and it's almost 7 o'clock now. So I only need really one more thing, and I can get it later. I have enough things to test out a lot of the plumbing tomorrow that I picked up between Handyman and also at Ace here tonight. Now I need some dinner, and one of my favorite places is right here behind me, the Pepper Lunch. Even though it's dinner, we're going to be eating at Pepper Lunch. So let's go grab a bite inside here.
Table for one po, sir?
Yeah. No, I'm not in China. Anyway, that's it for me today. I'm going to close here from SM and get home and get some rest and start this all over again tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is another plumbing day. Going to try to hook up some of that stuff up in the washroom, the comfort room, the bathroom, up on the second floor, while the guys are still doing the stonework outside. Nothing new that I can think of right now, but if I do, I will definitely share it with you all. So until tomorrow, if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, you have a wonderful, blessed day.